Hey, so happy Friday. Thank you so much for joining me today. Lily and I are very glad to see you. So as always, let's take a moment to find a comfortable seat, whatever that looks like in your body today, and remembering that there are many possibilities here, right? So if it's comfortable for you to sit with your legs folded, feel free to do so. If not, sit in a way that feels good. So maybe one foot tucked in, one out, maybe both legs extended. Again, whatever feels most comfortable in your body. Remember, you can also sit on something. Sometimes it feels more comfortable to sit on a cushion or a block and elevate our tailbone. So find your comfortable seat and then start just by rooting down and letting your body come to stillness. Begin to cultivate some nice deep breaths. So really start to breathe from your belly. Give your body that full freedom of air. Now, as you breathe, let's begin to feel some little movements going along with that deep breath. So on your inhale, feel your spine roll out nice and long, sit a little taller on the mat, and then exhale to soften. Inhaling, lifting, lengthening, and exhale to soften. On your next inhale, sweep your right hand across your body and then up and over, and exhale, lowering that hand down. Inhale, left side, reach across, up and over, and exhale down. Inhaling right, and left. And we're just going to continue to follow this simple movement, this little movement meditation for a few more breaths. Remember to go at your pace, nice and slowly, just gently opening our shoulders. Now, as you breathe, as you move, begin to notice where it would feel good to change things or to linger. So if you notice that it would feel really good to stay in one particular part of this stretch, feel empowered to do so. You're also welcome to change things entirely. So if your body is crying out for one particular kind of movement or stretch, go ahead and give it to it. That's what this space is for, to just begin to greet our body in this space. And then gently and gradually begin to make your way back to seated. Draw your hands to heart center and close your eyes. We're going to set our intention for today's practice. So take a moment to choose the energy or idea, the work that you're doing right now that you would like to bring onto your mat with you. So the word I am concentrating on today is grace. And if you don't have one that you would like to use, you're welcome to use mine. So once your intention is set, simply walk your hands forward, sweep your feet around behind you, and let's meet in tabletop. So in tabletop, wrists come underneath the shoulders, knees are under the hips. On your inhale, roll your heart forward and tip your tailbone to the sky. Then exhale, coil your belly in and drop the crown of your head. Inhale to roll open. Exhaling, coiling in. Now, as you breathe, as you move, if you notice that it would feel good to begin shifting into freeform movement, feel welcome to do so. So you can stay with cat-cow. You can also experiment with shifting your spine from side to side, forward and back, whatever would feel best in your body, right? It's just a little bit of experiment time. And then find your way back to tabletop, coming to a neutral spine. Draw your knees toward each other underneath your hips so that they're centered, so your body feels nice and stable. On your inhale, extend your right leg long behind you and lower the tip of your toe down to the mat. So from here, let's begin stretching out that right leg. So we're going to press into that right heel, shifting back, getting a nice stretch into our calves, into our hamstrings. And remember that you always have options, right? If it's too much, just bend that knee a little bit or come out of the stretch. You're also welcome to find a slow flowing movement here, shifting into and out of this stretch. And then let's switch it out. Lower your right knee down. Let's feel that on the left side. Extend your left leg long. Lower the toe to the mat and begin to press into your left heel. Now you'll notice, of course, that your body's asymmetrical. So this is going to feel maybe more intense on one side than the other. So remember, you don't have to make the movement symmetrical either, right? Go to the extent that it feels good in your body. And remember, you can always find that slow flow, that slow roll, or you can just make that stretch a little bit less intense by shifting forward slightly. And then lower that left knee back down to the mat. So we are going to meet in forward fold. There are a couple ways to get there. You can walk your hands back to stand. You can also step your feet forward. Now, once you've found your forward fold, simply surrender. So let your head be heavy, let your neck be long. Remember, you can always place a block underneath your hands to help support this fold. Or if it feels good in your body, just relax, let it go. You can rock from side to side a little bit. It's Friday. We have made it through another week in this wild, wacky, weird world. Try to let some of the week just roll off of you and out into the earth. Maybe feeling it wiggling out of your fingertips. If you are in motion, come to stillness. Bend your knees. Exhale. Roll your way all the way up to standing. Inhale. Rise and open. Sweep your fingertips to the sky. Exhale, draw your hands to heart center. Release your hands down by your sides and let's set up our first Tadasana of class. So we're going to set up mountain pose, Tadasana, toward the top of the mat. Root your feet down to the earth. You want them parallel like mine, directly underneath your hip bones. Feel that connection. You can even lift your toes, spread them out, and then lower them, really feeling that rooting energy, reaching down into the earth. Begin to draw up on the inner arches of your feet. Feel your quads engage. And now let's strengthen our belly muscles. So start just by giving your belly a little love. You can rub your tummy here. And then find that space just underneath your navel where you've got that little triangle of muscles. Draw them in and up. Feel your tailbone lengthen. Shoulders roll back and down. Palms face forward. So this is Tadasana. Stable and strong. Rooted and rising. On your inhale, sweep your fingertips out to the sides and up to the sky. Exhale, hands passing down through heart center, forward fold. Bend your knees enough that your fingertips can touch down either to the mat or to your blocks. On your inhale, step your right foot back to lunge. Lower your right knee down to the mat, and let's check in with our alignment real quick. So you want to make sure your left knee is directly over your left ankle. If you look down and your foot is back like mine is right now, just lift it and move it forward. And that really helps keep the tension on our legs nice and accessible. It doesn't cause any damage to the knee. So let's set up for lunge. Inhale to look forward. Exhale, let your hips draw you back as your left leg lengthens. Inhale, shift forward to lunge. Try to melt your right hip toward the mat. And then exhale, shifting back, left leg lengthens. We just follow this a few times, starting to loosen through our hips and legs. Let your next inhale bring you all the way forward to lunge, tabletop. Knees come together. Plant your hands on the mat and let's find some movement in our spines again. So on your inhale, roll your heart forward. Exhale, coil your belly in and drop crown of your head. Inhale to roll open. And exhale to coil. Just continue these movements, either staying with cat-cow or maybe transitioning into free-form movement for another couple breaths. Just introducing a little space, a little freedom to our spines, to our backs. And then find your way to a neutral spine. Walk your hands one handspan forward and shift your shoulders over your wrists. So we want to set up half plank here, and in half plank, knees, hips, and shoulders are in one long line. So you can always walk your hands a little further forward or back until you feel that alignment. Let's do it wrong first. So slump through your midsection and feel that it's awful, and then dial your core in, right? Nice and strong. So we stay engaged through the belly as we bend our elbows and begin to lower our bodies down to the mat. And if this gets to be too much, just come down. Walk your toes back. Once you land, create plenty of space underneath you. Bring your fingertips wide. They can come off the mat. Begin to roll one shoulder and then the other in creative Cobra. So we're just continuing that work of creating space and fluidity in our shoulder joints. Draw some nice big circles here. Return your hands to beneath your shoulders. Press back, tabletop. So you have a choice here. You can remain in tabletop, or if you have one in your practice, you're also welcome to take downward facing dog in this space. Whichever position you have chosen, find movement. So if you're in tabletop, that's cat-cow or free-form movement. If you've selected downward facing dog, use this as an opportunity to walk out your dog. Bend one knee and then the other. You can shift your shoulders and your hips. Again, just finding some ease, some comfort right here. And then find your way to stillness. Inhale to look forward. Exhale to step your right foot forward between your hands. Now, if your back knee is lifted, go ahead and lower it down, and we're just going to check our alignment one more time. So look down. You want that right knee to be directly over that right ankle. Remember, you can always wiggle your foot a little further forward if it's a little far back. Grab your blocks if you were using them. Inhale to look forward. Exhale, shift back. Begin to lengthen through the back of that right leg. Inhale forward to lunge. Melt the left hip as your heart rises. Exhaling, shifting back. Inhaling forward to lunge. Now, if you find that you could use a little more space here, remember you can always walk your hands forward and back with you, whether you've got blocks under them or not. You can always move. Let your next inhale bring you all the way forward to lunge. Turn your left toes under to lift your back knee. Look forward and step together. And fold. Rock from side to side if that would feel good. Try to relax the back of your head and neck. This is where we tend to hold a lot of tension, so try to really let that go. Maybe turn your head from side to side. Then come to stillness. Bend your knees. Exhale, roll your way all the way up to standing. Inhale, rise and open. Exhale, hands to heart center. Release your hands down. Reset your Tadasana. If you need to reset your mountain pose, go for it. Root the feet, engage your core, open your heart. Palms face forward and inhale. Rise and open. Exhale, fold forward. Bend your knees, plant your fingertips on that mat or onto a set of blocks. Inhale, step your left foot back to lunge and lower your left knee down to the mat. So let's take that stretch a little bit deeper this time. Inhale to look forward. Exhale, shift back. As you shift back, let your right toes rise and you'll get a deeper stretch along the back of that right leg. Inhale, forward to lunge, melt your hip. Exhaling, shifting back. Inhaling, forward to lunge. And we just follow our breath for a few passes through. Let your next inhale bring you all the way forward to lunge. Tabletop, knees coming beneath the hips, wrists are under the shoulders. From here, walk your hands, one hand span forward, shoulders over wrists. Now, if you're feeling ambitious, you can turn your toes under and take full plank here. Totally up to you. Whichever path you happen to be on, bend your elbows and float your way down to the mat. Once you've landed, walk your toes back, create space, and let's bring fingertips wide again. Roll out your shoulders through creative Cobra. Return your hands to beneath your shoulders. Press back, tabletop or downward facing dog, yogi's choice. On your next inhale, step your left foot forward between your hands. So we're going to set up that same flowing lunge. Grab your blocks if you were using them. Inhale to look forward. Exhale, shift back. Remember this time, left toes rise, so we get that deeper stretch. Inhaling forward to lunge, and exhale back. As always, remember you can also move your hands, right? You can walk those blocks or your hands forward or back. Let your next inhale bring you all the way forward. Turn your right toes under to lift your back knee. Look forward and step together and fold. Rock from side to side here. Just finding space. Come back to stillness at the center. Exhale, roll your way all the way up to standing. Inhale, rise and open. Exhale, hands come to heart center. Reset Tadasana. Find your mountain pose, strong core, open heart. Inhale, sweep your hands to the sky. Exhale to fold forward. Plant your fingertips. Inhale, step your right foot back to lunge and lower your right knee down. Now this time we're going to walk our hands up our left knee. So if you find that in this position you feel unstable, feel free to take a block and put it by your right hip. That way there's somewhere for your hand to land if you start to come over sideways. We're learning balance here. That's why it's yoga practice and not yoga perfect. It's okay to have props and it's okay to sometimes feel unstable. From here, we're going to begin to open that right hip a little more. So on your inhale, lift up and out. Make your spine nice and tall. Exhale, sink deeply into your left knee and melt that right hip toward the earth. Inhaling, lifting up and out. Exhaling, sinking. Now try to keep your heart lifted here. There's sometimes a tendency to make everything fold over, but we really want to focus that stretch on the hip, which means keeping the heart lifted. Good. On your next exhale, bring both hands down to the mat. Knees together. From here, let's keep our knees together and hips high as we walk our hands all the way forward as far as we can reach and melt our hearts toward the mat. So this is sometimes called puppy dog pose or Anahatasana. This is a pretty deep shoulder stretch, so if you find that it's too much, you can bend your elbows, still melting your heart toward the mat and get the benefits of that stretch without maybe as much weight accompanying it. And from here, let's roll our way all the way out and down onto our bellies. Walk your toes back to create Sphinx. Now this time, let's move into Sphinx pose. So in Sphinx pose, we want our elbows directly beneath our shoulders. Plant your forearms and spread your fingers. If it helps, I always think of this as like Lego dude arms. You want to have 90-degree angles here. Everything is very strong, very stable. Turn your toes under. Now, draw your awareness to where your belly is resting on the mat. And on an exhale, begin to roll up as you press into your forearms. Come to your quads, your knees may be floating up completely into forearm plank. We're just going to breathe right here, building a little heat, building a little strength. And then roll it back down. Knees, quads, hips. Make a pillow with your hands. Rock your hips from side to side and let it go. Return your hands to beneath your shoulders. Press back, tabletop or downward facing dog. Yogi's choice. Come to stillness. Inhale to look forward. Exhale, step your right foot forward between your hands. Now, once you've arrived, walk your hands up. So same consideration as the other side. If you feel unstable here, just place a block by your left hip so that you have something to touch. So from here, let's begin to open that left hip. Inhale, lift up and out, nice and tall. Exhale, sink deeply into your right knee. Inhaling to lift. And exhale to sink. On your next exhale, both hands come down to the mat. Turn your left toes under, lift your back knee, look forward, and step together. Fold right here. Rock from side to side. That would feel good. Let your head be heavy. And then come to stillness. Bend your knees, exhale, roll your way up. Inhale, rise and open. Exhale, hands to heart center. Last time through our opening namaskar, our opening salutation, take a moment to plant your feet. Again, strong core, open heart. Inhale, sweep your fingertips to the sky. Exhale, fold forward. Plant your fingertips. On your inhale, step your left foot back to lunge and lower that left knee down. Once you've landed, walk your hands up your right knee, placing a block to help steady you if you need it. From here, let's add some full moon arms. Inhale, sweep your fingertips forward and up. Exhale, open out. Good. Inhale. Now there's an exhale technique called lion breath that can be good for releasing tension, and to do that we just go stick your tongue out, make a war face, breathe it all out. And both hands come down to the mat. Tabletop Bringing the knees directly beneath the hips and then walking them in toward each other. Let's keep our hips high as we walk. Our hands forward. Melt your heart toward the earth. Puppy dog pose, Anahatasana. Again, if this is too much on your shoulders, just bend your elbows. Bring your forearms to the mat and you'll still get the benefits of the stretch without as much pressure. And then roll your way all the way out and down onto your belly. Come down to the mat, walk your toes back, and let's find Sphinx pose. I promised the last time we're here today. So once again, Sphinx pose, elbows directly beneath the shoulders. Press your forearms to the mat. Feel the buoyancy in your shoulders when you press down, right? It makes a big change in how our body is shaped at that moment. So we want to keep all of that buoyancy in the shoulders as we turn our toes under. On your exhale, draw your awareness to where your belly is resting on the mat. Exhale, begin to roll up, navel drawing in, hips, quads, knees. Maybe we float up into forearm plank. Just a couple breaths right here. Hang on to your intention here. Come back to the energy you're cultivating on your mat. And then gently and with control, roll back down. Knees, quads, hips. Rest your head. Rock from side to side. Remember, you can always add windshield wiper legs if that feels good in your body. It feels nice in mine. And then return your toes to the mat and your fingertips to beneath your shoulders. Press it back, tabletop or downward facing dog, yogi's choice. From here, inhale to look forward. Exhale, step your left foot forward between your hands. Once you've landed, walk your hands up that left knee. Place a block by your right hip for support if you'd like to have one there. And let's find that same full moon opening. Inhale, sweep your fingertips forward and up. Exhale, open out. Inhale. Lion's breath if you need it, if you're carrying some stuff. And both hands come down to the mat. Turn your right toes under, lift your back knee. Look forward and step together to fold. Take a full lunar pause here. And if forward fold is tough for you, just remember you can always cushion. You can bring a block to help support your body. Otherwise, take a moment for full surrender. So really try to relax. Relax your jaw, your forehead, relax your neck. Let your head dangle, and if it would feel good to move, remember you can rock from side to side. You can find your elbows and dangle in ragdoll if that would feel good. There are lots of options. Come back to stillness at the center. Release your fingertips down toward the mat. Bend your knees. Exhale, roll your way up. Inhale, rise and open. Exhale, hands to heart center. Release your fingertips down, and we're going to come down to the mat and take a seat for our next little sequence. We had some requests for shoulders, which always to me says neck as well. So we're going to do a little neck and shoulder sequence while seated. So I invite you to find a comfortable seat. Remembering, of course, that in my body, legs folded is comfortable. If that's not the case, you just sit however you need to in order to find, oh, did I scare you? In order to find ease. So find your comfortable seated position, and we'll start with some neck rolls. So simply drop your chin to your chest, and let's roll our head all the way over to one side, back across and down, and over to the other. Now, we want to try not to go around the back, so we're just tracing a big smile across the front of the body. The next time you find that you've reached your right side, so your right ear is over your shoulder, so stay right there and turn your face out. So right ear's over the shoulder, face is toward me. From here, you can roll that left shoulder back and down and walk your fingertips away to deepen that stretch a little bit more. And remember that the angle that that left hand is at is going to change where you feel the stretch. So wiggle it around a little bit until you find the spot that feels best. And if this is enough, if this is plenty of stretch, stay here. If you'd like to, you're also welcome to bring your right hand to your head and, add just a little bit more traction. And release, come back to center. Let's roll all the way over to that left side, left ear over the left shoulder. Again, sustaining here, or maybe walking that right hand away. And just noticing where that right hand needs to be in order to get the best stretch for your body. And again, your choice, stay right here, or if you'd like to, you can always add a little bit of weight with that left hand. And release, come back to center. Let's find some nice big shoulder rolls. So roll them all the way forward, all the way up, squeeze together at the back, roll them all the way down. And then we find that movement again. So nice big shoulder circles here. Go for the fullest range of motion you have. Even if it looks a little ridiculous, it's totally fine. And then make sure to move the other direction. So we begin to roll forward. Again, squeezing the blades together as we roll past our axe. And come back to center. Scrunch your shoulders all the way up to your ears. Squeeze, 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 and then exhale. Roll them back and down. And feel how nice and long your neck feels now. So let's roll that wave of relaxation a little further down the spine. We're going to concentrate on our rib cage. Shift your rib cage all the way over to your right side. Then shift it forward, over to the left, and then back. And now let's begin to connect those points. So we're drawing big circles with our rib cage. This can feel really nice in the side waist and the upper back. We just want to make sure to go the other direction. So let's roll towards the right. And come all the way back to center. From here, sweep your fingertips up overhead, and we're going to interlace our fingertips. Turn your palms to face away and just press through your hands. Now engage your belly first, so navel to spine, and then on your next inhale, press your fingertips to the sky, stretch up and back, nice deep stretch right here. And release, come back to center, turn your palms to face you and float them at about heart level. Now from here, we're going to press the palms away, let your upper back round and drop your head between your upper arms. Again, just breathing, enjoying that rounding of the spine, that nice deep stretch across the back. And then come back to center, releasing your hands down. So let's go ahead and meet in standing. You can get there however you would like to. Take a nice wide stance on your mat. So we're going to let our toes point out to about a 45-degree angle. From here, on your inhale, sweep your fingertips out to the sides, up to the sky. Exhale through heart center. Feeling that energy again, those full moon arms. Now you can stay focused on this upper body movement, or on your exhale, you can bend your knees, sinking down to high malasana, high yoga squat. Inhaling to lift, straightening our legs. Exhaling, hands through heart center and lowering down. Just feeling this a few more times. On this next exhale, hands come through heart center. Release them down. We're going to do one more shoulder stretch while we're here. So from here, right arm over, left arm under. Find your shoulders. Lower your elbows all the way down and roll your shoulders back and down as well. Now, I'm going to turn sideways so you can see what I'm doing here. So engage your belly first. Feel nice and strong. Keep your elbows nice and low. On your inhale, lift just the tips of your elbows, trying to keep your shoulder blades low. Exhale to lower. And inhale to lift. Now, if it's open to you, you're welcome to move toward eagle arms here. So in eagle arms, the backs of our arms come together and maybe we find that thumb or that palm. If you found eagle arms, the movement is the same. Everything stays low except for the elbows. And the great thing I love about this stretch is that it really gets that spot right between our shoulder blades, which is such a tough place to stretch most of the time. We might just stay here for like another 15 minutes. All right, release those arms down, roll it out a little bit, and then we're going to feel that on the other side. So this time, left arm over, right arm under, and we start again with yoga straight jacket. Hands to the shoulders, elbows are low. Engage your belly so you're standing nice and strong. Inhale, lift just the tips of your elbows. Exhale to lower. Inhaling to lift. And exhale. And now, of course, you know where we're going. So if you'd like to move toward eagle arms, feel free to do so. And then find the same movement. Lifting just the tips of your elbows and lowering. And we'll just follow our breath a few times here. On your next exhale, release and roll it out. So from that wide stance, we're going to step our right foot forward and our left foot back, and we're going to turn so that our hips are facing the short side of the mat. And I'm going to lower my camera a little bit so that you can see more of what my lower body is doing. So when we move toward warrior one, we want that back foot to be dialed out to the side, but maybe not quite as broadly as in warrior two. Hips are facing the short side of the mat, so you'll probably find a more narrow angle feels better. Turn your heart toward the front of that mat. Sink deeply into your right knee. Inhale, sweep your fingertips to the sky. Exhaling, opening out. Once again, full moon arms. Inhale. Now on this exhale, both hands are going to sweep down behind, and we're going to interlace our fingers behind us at the small of the back. Before we move forward, engage your belly, right? So feel your navel drawing in, core is nice and strong. On your inhale, lift from behind your heart as you lengthen your arms, staying engaged through your core. So Anahatasana, heart pose in Vira 1, in warrior 1. And release. Roll your shoulders out. From here, we're going to sweep our fingertips to the sky. Exhale, fold forward. Both hands come down to the mat. Step your left foot all the way back and lower it down to the mat. Walk your hands up your right knee. We've been here once before this practice. Go ahead and place a block by your left hip if you think you're going to need a little help here. And then we'll find some movement. Inhale, sweep your fingertips forward and up. This time, exhale, shift back. Right toes rise, sweep your fingertips behind you or let them touch down. Inhaling, opening. Exhaling, surrender. On this next exhale, both hands are going to come down to the mat and then walk them back as your right toes rise. Remember, you can always have blocks underneath your hands here to give your legs a little bit more length. Inhale to create plenty of length along your spine. Exhale to bow over that right leg. Inhaling, lengthening, and exhale to soften. Gently walk your hands forward. From here, find your child's pose or the resting pose of your choice. If child's pose feels good to you, let your toes touch, knees are wide. You can melt your heart down to the mat, relaxing all the way down onto your belly. If child's pose does not feel good in your body, I invite you to choose a rest pose that does. So maybe it's low kneeling or seated, maybe it's lying all the way down on the mat. Wherever you have landed, take a moment right here. Come back to your breath, back to your intention for your practice. Gently make your way back up, and we're going to meet in standing so we can feel everything on our left side. So make your way all the way up to standing. So from here, we're going to set up that same lunge sequence, but with the left foot forward. So step your left foot forward, and that right foot comes back. Now, that right foot might be dialed out completely to the side, or maybe a little bit of a narrower ankle. You want your hips facing that short side of the mat. So once again, we sink nice and deeply into that front knee, into that left knee. Inhale, sweep your fingertips to the sky. Exhaling, opening out. A few passes through, full moon arms. And on this next exhale, both hands come down, sweep them behind you, and let them rest at the small of your back. Interlace your fingers. So before we stretch, engage your belly. So feel your core nice and strong. Then on an inhale, lengthen your arms as you lift from behind your breastbone, Anahatasana. Exhaling to soften. Inhaling. Exhale, and one more time. And release. Sweep your fingertips to the sky. Exhale, this time both hands down. Pivot on your back foot, step it back even further, lower down to your right knee. Walk your hands up your left knee. So let's find those beautiful full moon arms. Inhale, sweep your fingertips forward and up. Exhale, shift back, left toes rise this time. Fingertips touch down or sweep behind you. Inhale. And exhale, sweeping back. On your next exhale, both hands come all the way down to the mat. Walk your hands back and let your left toes rise. We're going to stay shifted back, so hips and hands stay back. Inhale, create plenty of length along your spine. Exhale, bow over that left leg. Imagine your heart trying to reach toward your toe. So we want to feel a lot of length in our backs. And then simply walk your hands forward and shift back to take a seat. So we're going to want to grab our straps here. And if you came in a little bit late, if you do not have a yoga strap, no problem. Any strip of fabric will do. You can do this with a scarf. You can do it with a blanket. We just need a little bit of a loop. So grab your strap if you have one, or whatever you're using for a strap, and roll your way all the way down onto your back. Start by just drawing your knees in and rock from side to side. Relax, find a little bit of ease. And then come to stillness at the center. So from here, let's find that strap. And we're going to place our right foot into that strap. So we'll press that right heel to the sky, and you can either lower your left foot down and leave this left knee bent, or you can lengthen that leg completely and press through both heels. Just depends on what feels more stable and comfortable in your body. So let's begin getting a nice deep stretch. So that right leg, we want to have it as close to straight as possible. As you can see, my hamstrings are really tight. So in me, at this angle, this is as straight as my leg gets, and that's okay. From here, we'll begin to draw in gently on that strap. We want to draw that right foot toward the crown of our heads. And then from here, draw your right foot toward your left shoulder. Try to keep your hips on the earth here. So we want to try to keep our bodies nice and even. And depending on how your IT bands are, you might feel this along the outside of your right leg. I certainly do. Inhale back to center, switch it out, placing that strap into your right hand, and let's open that right leg out to the side. Now again, we want to keep our hips earthed on the mat, so you can always add a hand to that left hip to remind you to stay down. And again, just a nice easy stretch here. And then draw back to center. Let's switch it out. Step your left foot into that strap. Lower your right leg down to the mat, or bend the knee and plant the foot. Again, just depends on what feels better in your body. Press through your left heel. So again, we want to aim for a straight leg. Keeping that leg nice and energized, begin to draw on the strap, drawing your left foot toward the crown of your head. And just breathing. Try to let every exhale dissolve another place that's holding tension. From here, draw your left foot toward your right shoulder. Again, keeping the hips grounded on the mat, so that left hip stays down, which focuses the stretch to the outside of that left leg. Inhale back to center. Exhale, open that left leg out to the side. Again, keeping the hips on the mat, so we want to keep our hips nice and even, and just stretch out that left hip. And draw everything back to center. Set your strap or your blanket or your scarf down. We're done with it. Draw your knees in and rock from side to side. Just let it all go. So from here, lower the soles of your feet down to the mat just beneath your glutes and reach your hands long. Now I'm going to give you a couple options for our bridge pose sequence. So option one, draw your navel toward your spine and feel your lower back press into the mat. Inhale to release. And then exhale, feel that again, scooping your belly in, pressing your lower back. Inhaling to release. So this is called a dynamic pelvic tilt. And if this feels awesome, you stay right here. Now, if you'd like to move toward low bridge pose, come to a neutral spine and then go about halfway into that pelvic tilt. So we engage our belly slightly without the pressure onto the mat.
Plant your palms. On your next inhale, press into your feet. Lift your hips up off the mat. Again, straight, staying engaged through the core. Exhale, soften a little bit. Inhale to lengthen. And exhale to soften. So we just rise and fall on the breath or rock back and forth in pelvic tilt. On your next exhale, roll your way all the way down, vertebra by vertebra. Draw your knees in and rock from side to side. Come back to center. Open your arms out to either side. Make a nice big T on the mat. Drop your knees off to your right-hand side and turn your head to look to the left. And just soften here. Relax. Let your body melt. If you find that that left leg is floating a little bit, you can either soften it down to the earth or plant your left foot, leaving that knee bent. Again, whatever feels more comfortable in your body. Inhale to come back to center. Exhale, drop your knees off to the left. Turn your head to look to the right. Stabilizing. Again, just softening, letting the earth hold you. And if you find that that right knee is floating a little bit, you can just plant that foot instead. Inhale to come back to center. If there is any additional movement, any stretch, any asana, anything at all that you would like to feel before we close our practice for the day, take a moment to honor that request within your body. So maybe it's an inversion or happy baby or another twist or a fold, whatever would feel really good. That's what you put right here. And then as you are ready, begin to make your way toward your Shavasana. And remember, you always have choices. So in Shavasana, you can lie flat on your back, with your heels nice and wide, palms facing the sky. If you notice that this causes discomfort in your lower back, bend your knees. Plant your feet at the distance of the mat and let your knees fall together at the center. And if lying on your back is not comfortable for you, no problem. You can lie on your side or take seated meditation. So whatever feels best today, find your way into stillness. Draw your awareness to all the places where your body is being supported. And let those little points of connection just soften. Let them relax. Relax your jaw. Relax your eyes and your forehead. Let your awareness rest on the flow of your breath. And if you notice that you get pulled into a thought cycle, just come back to this. Just come back to your breath. And then let go and float.
allow your breath to create space within your body. Begin to find some little movements of your fingertips and your toes. Just bringing you back to this day, to this time. Point your toes away and reach your arms up overhead. Take a nice deep breath in, full body stretch. Then exhale to draw your knees into your chest and rock from side to side. Eventually finding your way all the way over onto your right side and just curling into the posture of the sleeping child. You can cradle your head on your right arm here. Now, take a moment in this space that you have created to let go of everything from the week that does not need to go into the weekend with you. And just let all of that leach out, pour out into the earth beneath you. And in its place, I invite you to breathe in the peace of your practice. I invite you to breathe in joy. And whenever you are ready, use your hands to help press yourself up to a nice, easy seated position. Bring your hands to heart center and close your eyes. We'll close our practice today with a round of Om Shanti Shanti Shanti, a prayer for peace. Inhale. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Thank you so much for sharing your practice with me this morning. Namaste. Thank you, everyone, so much. I hope you have a wonderful weekend. Let me stop the recording.